Hey guys, my name's Alyssa and I'm a freshman at UC Berkeley. I turned 18 back in October and today's video is 18 lessons at 18. So I'm filming this video both for myself and for you guys if you want any life advice. So the first piece of advice I have is that you have to find a hobby outside of school. I find that life is the most fulfilling when I'm working on something outside of school. Like for example, for me that would be dance or doing graphic design. Like yes, school is super busy, but make sure you're finding time for those creative things in your life too. This could even be just like reading or going to the gym. My next lesson is that most things aren't that deep. Learn to let things go, learn to forget, and learn to forgive. And for me, I find that I'm often doing this like not for the other person's benefit, but more for my own. Because honestly, the worst thing you can do is be holding grudges because that's holding back yourself more than anyone. My next tip, especially for college students, is to figure out what is worth your time. I think something that was really hard for me was getting my priorities straight. Academics takes up a really big chunk of your time, but then you have social life, clubs, and with the breadth of opportunities that you're presented with at such a young age, it's important that you are exploring opportunities, but also make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin. My next tip, and probably my favorite tip, is that the best thing you can do for yourself is practice detachment. This doesn't mean be emotionally avoidant. What I mean by this is kind of adding on to the previous few points. Nothing is that deep. And in the end of the day, all you have is yourself. So make sure that you're not overly attached or codependent on any friendships or relationships in your life. My next tip, especially for people going into college, is that friendships should never feel like a romantic relationship or obligation. And this is less emphasis on the romantic part, but more so on the part where friendships become burdensome and you feel like you owe each other something. I think the best way to approach college friendships is to approach it with gratitude. And I think we should all go into friendships with less expectation. If a friendship isn't satisfying you or giving you what you need, it's fine to leave. But these friendships should never feel like a chore or an obligation. Next, and a really, really important one, is that food is almost never your enemy. Going into college, and especially in high school, I find that there are so many voices and opinions on dieting and your body. Diet culture is so strong. What I've learned and what I always preach is intuitive eating to some extent, listening to your body on what it needs. If you're hungry, eat. If you want a sweet treat, honestly, get it. But of course, also making sure that you're doing that in a healthy way and also incorporating movement and exercise that you enjoy. Like for me, that's weightlifting, dancing, and going on occasional hikes. But yeah, make sure you're not being negatively impacted by other people and their opinions on your body or diet culture, because that can be really, really harmful. And it's super prevalent. Next tip is study hard. Like honestly, since coming to Berkeley, I've been exposed to a new level of the grind. In high school, I worked really hard. That's honestly why I'm here. But the hard work doesn't stop here, and I'd say work hard now or you'll definitely regret it in the future. You can do a lot in 5 minutes. You can do a lot in 10 minutes. You can do a lot in an hour. You can do so much in a day. And essentially the point with this one is that you can fill your day in a specific way to where you can get a lot accomplished. It's definitely super duper easy to just sit in bed and watch your phone all day. And while it's good to give yourself those rest days, I've also experienced that in a day you can go to all your classes, you can go to the gym, you can get a few good meals in, you can socialize with your friends, you can make social media content, you can do all of the above. So yes, if you do get up a little bit earlier or scroll for a little less time, you can live quite a more fruitful life. So the next thing is actually something that I learned in the Haas classroom, which is specifically to be aware of your own intentions and other people's intentions going into a situation. This could apply to a team project or an argument or anything like that. So there's this thing called attributional ambiguity and attributional biases. So for example, we could be working in a team and I could be assuming things about another person because I don't know their true intention and I don't know their background. And so when it comes to various situations, I think it's really, really important that you know what everyone wants and what everyone's goals are so you can work towards those together with less judgment. So my next tip is to live in the moment because you will always want more. A lot of times when I'm stressing out or upset about something, I have to sit back and realize like I'm at Berkeley right now. Like this is the Berkeley dorm lounge. I'm living my best life. Like I'm so privileged to get to study here. I'm so privileged to live the life that I live. And this is everything that high school me had been praying for. But yet, like I'm still stressing about the future and my current situations. So yeah, that's something I've been really trying to work on, is sitting down and being appreciative and living more in the moment. Next one is that your friends and family can actually be your biggest haters. Make sure that you're not putting too much mind into the people in your life who support you, but only to a certain extent, or they make you doubt yourself, they make you feel bad about yourself. Like trust, that's just their insecurities talking. Connecting very smoothly into that point is that how people treat you says everything about them and nothing about you. Well, maybe not nothing about you, that's a very extreme statement, but you know what I mean. I would say someone's internal environment and their insecurities on themselves very much reflects how they behave in social settings and how they treat other people, especially if you have something or you know something that they don't have. So yeah, if someone isn't treating you the best, or if someone is kind of like projecting their insecurities, try not to take it personally. Life will feel a lot lighter if you just disregard what a lot of people are saying. Of course, if you actually have an issue, or like if you're actually doing something wrong, make sure to look within yourself as well. But a lot of the times, if it is just people projecting their insecurities, then make sure that you're not listening to them. My next point, and another one of my favorites, is that while we're young, we should try new things and take in as much media as we can. Because for me personally, I really want to be a fruitful and interesting person. I like that when people ask me for two truths and a lie, I already have something in my head. If they ask me my top movies, I know them, my favorite books, my favorite anything. So yeah, I think that's my favorite thing about myself. It's that I've been exposed to so many different types of media. I'm really well traveled. Like if you want to have a conversation with me, like we can talk about anything. Everything is a win when the goal is the experience. This applies to so many things. What I can think of right now is recruitment and club rush and any sort of application, honestly. I think when it comes to job applications and club applications, you go through a really long and rigorous process, and sometimes nothing comes to fruition. Sometimes you don't get in. You can make it to the final round for like many clubs and none of them want you in the end. But I think people who go through this know that despite there not being like their favorite end result, interview prep, resume review, and all of those like different processes that go into the actual process, you learn so much about yourself and you improve. Like you can literally feel yourself leveling up. And so it's important to approach life with the same mindset. Like, yes, maybe you don't get into your dream school. Yes, maybe you don't get that internship or that job. But yes, you also met so many new people through networking, and you're also like a whole new person from what you've learned. So I say that's a win. Kind of adding on to that point, I've learned that it's really important to be humble and allow yourself to be a beginner at things. I would say I came into college with quite a few assets. I knew how to do a lot of things, a couple niche things, I guess. But since coming here, I've had to be humbled over and over again. And right now I'm doing a lot of like Figma work and design. And I can't say I came in with much experience with that at all. But I'm really grateful that I was like, hey, Alyssa, like you don't know how to do any of this. You want to learn how to do this. Essentially, I let myself be a beginner, and now I can feel myself like leveling up and actually learning a lot about something that I'm starting to become very passionate about. Next, we're kind of pivoting. We're going to do one point on romantic relationships. So romantic relationships can very easily become codependent, I'd say, especially in high school and also in college. Honestly, like it feels great to have someone by your side and you can always rely on them, but you do not want to become codependent. When one or both parties lose themselves, that's when you know that the relationship is probably not going to last. It's bound to crash and burn, because it's important that a relationship is two individuals who are fully developed and fully know what they want and their intentions, and they come together to form a greater unity rather than two halves of a whole, if that makes sense. My next piece of advice is about relationships in general. This could be family, friends, romantic relationships. And the tip is to try to be the bigger person, so when you look back at the situations, you leave with no regrets. This could be a kind of selfish take, but I think being the bigger person is beneficial to both parties. Like, I know in a lot of my friendships and relationships, we've had conflicts and I've actively tried to be the bigger person. This is both wanting to be mature, and also like I look back at those situations and I genuinely think like, oh, there isn't anything else that I could have done, and I handled it with as much grace and kindness as I could have. Okay, we've finally made it to my last tip, which could be seen as a privileged take, but money comes and goes. And the point is that you're going to be spending money on like going to karaoke with your friends, getting dinner with your friends, going to Universal Studios, going to Disneyland, or, you know, maybe you're making an investment, you're buying like a nice suit or something like that. Like, my point is that money comes and goes, and a lot of these things, especially in college when you're young, they're so worth it. Like, yes, Universal Studio tickets are like $150, but I would spend it so I could experience it with my friends in college. But yes, that's the video. I think a lot of the things that I talked about today, like, take it with a grain of salt. This is my own experience, but I do think this is applicable to a lot of other people, as well as like not just 18, you know, these are just 18 things that I live by. Sorry guys, my camera stopped recording for some reason, but yeah, that's the video, and I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your spring, amazing rest of your year. Bye guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. I promise I'll post more.